Hey everybody, this is Stu Smith and Jeff Nichols with the Tactical Fitness Report. And today is a special one. We're going to talk about recovery and how do you lick your wounds when you are going through tough tactical training. We're going to specifically talk about buds, but a lot of these same injuries occur and aches and pains and soreness occur in any spec ops training program, for that matter. So Jeff, let's start off with the first one. Let's just start off with general everyday soreness. Like your typical work day at Buds is probably going to be 8 to 10 hours. Not all of it's physical activity, but there's a significant amount of it. And at the end of the day, you're going to be sore, and that can also affect the next day.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think for me, just to keep it really concise, it's a couple things that you've got to prioritize. When you're looking at that 8 or 10 or 12 or whatever work day, number one priority is recover. It really should be recovery because you don't have control of the training. So it's two things. You've got to sleep and you've got to eat. I mean, everything else has got to be based off those two things, in my opinion.
sure.
So now there's going to be a trade-off sometimes. Sometimes you won't get that much sleep, but you can eat and snack a little bit more potentially. Like, number one, do not ever skip meals at Buds. Like, that's probably one of the worst ideas. I mean, I typically try to stay away from always and never when I'm talking about the human body, but
Sure. Yeah,
don't ever skip meals at Buds. And then on the other side, probably the vast majority of the folks at Buds and the vast majority of the ones that will successfully complete Buds, they made sleep a priority. That's probably the other side. So you're going to be tasked with a bunch of ancillary things at Buds because, you have to make coffee and the youngest guys have to, shine the bell or whatever. There's just a ton of stuff outside of, because the instructors are going to put all this responsibility on each class to make you manage time. That's why they're doing it. It's by design. It's busy work, but they're making you manage time. So keep that in mind. Have a plan to have snacks and eat, and your class isn't going to skip meals, right? But you might have to divide up and half the class is going to go knock this like classroom cleanup out, or their class goes and eats, and then you switch out at halfway point or something. But just right. That's really what the LPO and the guys will make chance, but they'll make that the class sort of objectives. But don't skip meals, and then don't not sleep. That's the big two. So from there we'll get in the weeds a little bit more.
Sure. I know there is a zero tolerance for supplements, even vitamins, while you're at Buds. However, if you go to the 7-Eleven down the street and you see a Muscle Milk, grab one of those on your way to wherever, if you're out, going out to dinner or something, or, on a Saturday morning, those things aren't going to like I said, it's just a little extra protein. It's like eating
there's no banned substances.
Yeah, there's no banned substances in it. It's just a little protein. It's not much different than finding 3 boiled eggs and eating them.
Right. Yeah. Right. I would really shy away from taking diuretics. Like, some of you are probably going to have caffeine and so forth, but stay away from pre-workouts. I mean, and just what Stu said, like, many of you are probably going to end up going like on the weekends. Yeah, you have the weekends to yourself typically. So go to movies, go out and go do this. But when you do that, take a backpack with you or make planned stops to hit the 7-Elevens and get snacks. Like, every opportunity you get to recover and eat, do it.
Yeah. So really, fuel is a big part of recovery. And I think a lot of people neglect that or overlook it perhaps. And it's got to be good food too. I mean, you don't want to eat crap food. You don't want to be drinking a lot, alcohol, those type of things on the weekends. There's going to be some temptation to do that. But, if you're going to have one, maybe, but, try to stay away from getting hammered because that's just setting you back another day of recovery.
Yeah. And especially early on, you're not going to get a whole lot of chances to struggle. Just know that, right? You know, everyone is going to have an off day or two over 27 weeks of training. And if you've performed well up to a certain point and have gotten hurt or sick, the buzz instructors will be well aware of that. If you show up and you disregard preparation, it's blood in the water. So don't overlook taking an opportunity, especially early on, and give yourself every advantage you can possibly have. And there's not a lot of them.
Right. So end of the day, you got, maybe give yourself 15 to 30 minutes to do what? Stretch, foam roll.
Yeah, that's one thing. Foam rollers are super prevalent now, and they weren't when I went through, and certainly probably when you were. No. That's hugely valuable. Any soft tissue work you can do, and we're going to kind of a couple things. Like, I would strongly suggest. I mean, there's a couple things. If I had to do it over again right now at the 23, this is what I would do. I would have a foam roller without a doubt.
Yes.
I'd have a pair of 2XU recovery tights without a doubt. Like, there's no question and that's the only brand, not Nike and whatever. Nothing against those brands, but they don't make them specifically for recovery and sport. 2XU recovery tights, game changer. Okay, that is what the soft community currently uses for travel and recovery post-op. Anyway,
right.
So I would use those. What I did do in the past is I went and got two. They're probably like 13-gallon or 15-gallon rectangle garbage cans, and I would put ice in them each night. I'd go to the Surf Mart right there, and I'd buy a bag of ice, and I would ice my feet and shins every night, and it was just kind of my moment to kind of chill out.
Yeah,
I'd have a real warm blanket on, have my feet in the ice, and it was nice. I would do that, and then the next piece for you, Stu, is like blister care and so forth. That would be the only time maybe you don't want to put your feet in ice water, because you really kind of want to probably dry it out. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I would probably just get bags of ice, and still use the ice for your shins or feet, ankles, things like knees, definitely IT band type pain. But yeah, the blisters, that one sucks.
Yep.
I was lucky. I never got a blister at Buds on my feet. And what I would do is I would wear 2 pairs of socks. I'd wear your regular dive socks, but then I'd also wear the Issue dress socks underneath of them. And those dress socks are like a rayon polyester blend, and it doesn't allow any sand to even come near your feet. And that made a big difference. I don't know if it's illegal to wear a second pair of socks, but like I said, they were Issue socks. I just wore them, and I didn't make a scene out of it. I wouldn't walk around in dress socks, but that saved me a lot. So that second pair of dress socks underneath your dive socks was very good. But the one time I did have some blisters running in boots for the first time. You want to dry those blisters out at the end of the day, even pop them. Get this stuff out. And if you're going to be involved with sand, you may want to even get the skin off of it as well. Some people like to put the skin on it, and it kind of helps make a scab or a callus. But I found that if you leave the skin on there, sand has a way of finding its way in there, and then it's just nasty, and then it falls apart anyway, and it could get infected. So that's your big thing. You don't want to get infected blisters.
Yeah,
because those suck, especially when you're in nasty water. Unfortunately, shit from Tijuana comes floating up, and you can get some pretty nasty.
I think they call it the red tide, because that literal shit from Tijuana comes up, and the sewer toxins kill the green algae.
Yeah,
it turns red. So when that current shifts, it's just, I think, remember that we got the red tide a couple times in Buds, and that's the one time they weren't allowed to put us in the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I agree. I think is the moment the day gets done and your responsibility of running around like a crazy person, have a really nice pair of flip-flops.
Yes.
Right. Or like I'm actually wearing right now, like the Hurley beach shoes that doesn't go into the toe. like or Under Armour or the Jordans, to get like something that's really comfortable. I would, if I did it again and I had them, I would get the Birkenstocks, like the little Jesus sandals, but it has cork bottoms that will form to your feet. Get those before you go into buds. Break them into your natural arch and take them to buds with you. Like
that's a good point, because a lot of regular cheap flip-flops can actually hurt your feet.
Yeah. So get a pair of Birkenstocks, get a pair of good Hurley or Nike or Under Armour sort of like locker room type slipper. Overseas, guys wore Uggs.
Yeah.
Just because it was cold and they were comfortable, right? A little bit goofy, but
that's funny.
I think that there's nothing more valuable outside of sleep, eating, and taking care of your feet. If your feet are happy, and that's the same thing with, you can get some higher end race socks from 2XU or from other companies that are really, really good. They just tend to be a bit of a pain in the butt to get on and off when your feet hurt. For me, just I have had bad feet. I inherited them from my mom. She has hammer toes and bunions and all this good stuff. And the years of playing college baseball, that was my big fear, was my feet, because I always got ingrown toenails. The second night of Hell Week, I had blisters. My toenails, your feet will be so wet, gentlemen, that your toenails will soften. They'll soften. And when mine started softening, they started rubbing. I had blisters underneath every one of my toenails. So they had to remove my toenails the second night of Hell Week. They took a little hot poker and put it through, and then they pulled the toenails off. And that was pretty awful. But what they did, it's funny because Kevin Lace was the brown shirt medical. He was a corpsman. I remember that first medical check. He's like, your feet are hamburger. They took like the literal handful of Vaseline and put it on my toes, and I put my sock on. So I just had like toes full of petroleum jelly through Hell Week, because that's the only way I could tolerate the sand.
Wow.
But your feet are important. Don't not take care of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me finish the whole blister thing real quick. What I would do at the end of the day with a blister is dry it out, right? Put alcohol on it, because that cleans it, but it also, it evaporates really quick, and it will super ultra dry out that skin and start making it a little tougher back there. Now, a lot of people, for the next day, they do a couple different things. They'll put a bandage on it and then duct tape it, which I've never really liked the whole duct tape thing. It never worked for me. It still stung through the whole day, which is fine. I mean, that happens. One thing I found was I'd get one of those big bandages that is almost about the size of your hand. Depending on how big the blister is, you got a good little gauze thing in there, then 2 little slaps of adhesive to it. And then put on, like Jeff said, Vaseline on that bandage, like a glob of Vaseline, not just a little thin layer. I mean, I'm talking a thick piece of Vaseline on there that's about like that. You're just putting it on there, and then slap that over the blister infected area, kind of tape it down a little bit. Try to see if you can keep all the Vaseline in there without stuff getting in there. And it's going to create a little bit of a, bump in your shoe or bulge in your sock. But tell you what, though, it prevents any like painful rubbing of your boot, with that Vaseline. As long as you can keep that Vaseline in there, and even if it slips out a little bit, it's still going to be enough to help you out a little bit. The thing that you want to try to do is keep the sand out of there. And that's not going to happen typically. No. But if you can, for a few hours, you'll feel pretty good with it.
It'll minimize it. And there's no reason why, too, because you're going to have a cage. Your class will have a cage on both sides of the compound. You can carry stuff with you. And guys will do that. They'll take big jars of Vaseline and they'll stage them in your class cages in places. And they'll even hide stuff like across the street by the cafeteria in the plants. Chance, you get the little bitty Vaselines. Just be prepared to do whatever it takes to get you through it.
Yes. How about this one? Chafing.
Yeah, that's it's the same thing. Is whenever you get a chance to get the wet clothes off, get them off.
Yeah.
And then the other side too is that what bacteria and flesh does not heal well in polyester, cotton. So, and that's then we're going into the sleep side of it. Sleep in cotton, right, as best you can. And then if you want to go really on the crazy side, you can get silver, actual silver laced clothing and or bed sheets. That's basically what I'm wearing right now. I'm still in my pajamas on my top at 10:30 in the morning, but Under Armour makes them. So now, but there's a lot of companies that have made them for a long time, but it's the little things, I think, that, are we talking about guaranteeing success through buds? No. But from the point of experience, and, it matters to us, but it doesn't matter to us because we're just trying to give you really good ways to approach this, because you may not have thought about them. That's the idea. Be objective thinkers. Yeah. So get out of your wet shoes, get out of your wet clothes. That was the first thing we did, was just as soon as you got, man, you just threw your clothes up over the railing and let them drip or whatever, and then immediately put dry clothes on. And you know the deal. You swim all day or at the beach all day, the first thing you want to do is put dry clothes on.
Yep.
Don't not do that. Take that, it's like, I got to run to this and go do this. You will be happy to get out of them, so get out of them.
Yep. That is the best advice. 1, get dry. 2, and then if it's an open wound, because you'll get chafing that's not just slightly pink. You'll get chafing that's bright red. I mean, that is turned into now an open wound that you got to really focus on getting clean again with alcohol, and it's going to sting.
Yep.
There might be some other medicines that you can put on that won't sting as bad, but I tend to just use alcohol just because it was such a good drying effect.
It works. That's why.
It just burns as hell, but at least it feels like it's getting clean to me because it's burning. But then it does dry it up real fast and allows it to start, getting healed a little bit better. And when it rubs each other again, it's a little less painful when it's a little harder.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But
because I think they still, I'm almost at one point for sure in buds post Hell Week, they issued the 2 times U compression shorts.
Nice.
I don't know what they issue now pre-buds, but a good compression garment short, like really tight, not restricting tight, but also like you get a lot of, close fitting clothing that they're very porous, the opposite of kind of the sock you're talking about.
Right.
Would I wear that? It depends, but I think that your best bet is to have loose fitting, dry cotton clothing. And before you do that, again, bite the bullet and just give yourself an alcohol bath.
Yeah.
So, and that's because you're going to see a handful, 10 people in your buds class that's going to get rolled out, medically rolled because of cellulitis.
Yep. And it starts there. It starts with chafing.
Good way to, and also, I know guys that did this. I know a couple guys. Just because you're in the ocean all day doesn't mean you're clean. Shower at the end of the night. As much as it sucks getting in the water, shower.
Yeah.
So, I can't overemphasize that. What you're going to do, especially with the logs, you're going to get my hands are still scarred from the logs. Mm-hmm. So make sure you take the opportunity to really dig. I remember coming out for Hell Week, and they gave us the betadine scrubs. I mean, you're going to have in Hell Week, you're going to have flesh coming off your body. You're going to have a loose flesh where you're going to be able to grab at it and it's going to be in your hand. Now, I'm not talking like a handful of hamburger, but you're going to have
skin coming off. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like if you had a really bad sunburn and it starts peeling, you reach back to scratch your back and you got a handful of flesh.
Yeah. That's another one. Sunburn.
Yeah.
You'll get sunburn out there pretty bad too. And that, like I said, it's not one of those things that is performance stopping, but it is very annoying.
With sand specifically.
Yeah, you get sunburn on your back top of your neck, on your face. Try to wherever you can, put some sunscreen on, because it gets hot out there. Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
So that's another annoying little one. Let's see. What's the other one we were going to talk about? Infection.
Yeah, we touched on supplements. We kind of touched on. I mean, we can end with sleep, but I would think that just keep in mind, some people are going to come in with these ideas of I need to have this very strict performance-based diet. Don't.
Yeah, just eat.
Just eat. And then also on that too, I've heard phrases like, hey, just because you exercise doesn't mean you deserve sugar water. In this case, I would say you do.
Yeah.
Drink. I mean, I always look at it like this. If you can drink water, keep water in your canteen, because some guys are going to put Gatorade and stuff in it. They're going to check.
Yeah.
And it's not that they don't want you to drink Gatorade, but it's just a follow directions kind of side. Drink a lot of water. You're going to have canteens with you. Drink a lot of water. When you get a chance to get more water and calories, drink milk. You get a chance to drink Gatorade, drink Gatorade. I don't think the guys are allowed to have refrigerators in their rooms. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one small one. But the barracks there is literally 100 meters or less from a convenience store that's open 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Don't be. I mean, there'd be days I'd go over there 6 or 7 times. And also just kind of something to do to break the monotony.
True.
So take that opportunity. I don't think there's going to be a need for the guys to think about Tylenol and those sort of things, because what Buds is really good at, among other things, is their medical procedures are really, really sound. If you're having aches and pains, you're going to have corpsmen in your class.
Yeah.
There's going to be corpsmen assigned to your class that aren't Bud students. Communicate with them, right? They're going to give you Motrin. They're going to give you things that they know within that system are valuable. Listen to them, heed their advice. Don't try to be a medical, if you yourself are a corpsman, you should know what to do. But the deal is you're not the first person to have these sort of things. So you don't need anything terribly special, right? Just take care of your body.
Yeah, absolutely. How about out in town? There's some things that's available. Like the whole recovery business has boomed since 2000.
Yep.
And it's since 2010. It's probably doubled since then. So, I mean, there's always a masseuse around.
Yep. There's a massage school in Pacific Beach. There used to be. There always was. And you could get a decent massage for $35.
Right.
It doesn't have to be every weekend. It doesn't have to be, but also on the massage side, don't get one that's super aggressive. Get one that's more relaxing, that's more for pushing blood and fluids through your sore muscles. You're going to want a deep tissue and those sort of things, but what you don't want to do is have this very aggressive massage when you're in the most aggressive training in your life. It won't complement one another.
Yeah, that deep tissue massage can hurt.
Yeah.
And you'll be just as sore the next day from one of those things than you would.
Yeah, damaged tissue is damaged tissue.
Yeah.
So, and then, there's a couple other things that I in hindsight, if I were going through Buds right now, there'd be a couple things that I would do without a doubt. One of them, above almost all else, not above sleep and not above eating, compression garment, a 2 times U compression garment would be right there. The next one would be sensory deprivation pods. And they're all over Southern California. That would be one of my top ones I would do, things I would do. It's right now, a sensory deprivation pod is for the money and for the accessibility. I'm not talking, aside from anabolics and growth hormone and insulin and those sort of things, that's a whole other topic that's not even going to be an issue in this. But something that is non-invasive and has the most highly effective recovery is sensory deprivation. And that's without a doubt the number one thing from high sport all over the world, professional sport here in the United States. It's the number one thing.
That's awesome.
Recovery. But the downside is you're going to be in salty water.
Right.
So you may not want to do it because it can be evasive for somebody that has been in water all week. So,
Yeah. I mean, whenever my girlfriend would come out to visit, and first thing she want to do is just go to the beach. And I'm like, oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
It's like,
So they want to go to San Diego Zoo, and that's like a 10-mile walk,
right. Yeah.
And then the other piece is for your money. You can't, I mean, if it were me, I would buy it. It's a no-brainer. Now I get it, like tight budgets and stuff like that. I would buy a Normatec. That's what
Okay.
I buy
That's cool.
Normatec, without a doubt. It's for the money, for what it is, for recovery. It's one of the best things for recovery outside of central deprivation. It's dry. It's pneumatic air compression.
Right.
Then next, again, as we already mentioned, the 2xU. Those are my three.
Right.
Central deprivation, Normatec, and then 2xU.
Okay, cool.
Massage is right there.
Yep.
Some people maybe do acupuncture, but they weren't around then, but they are now. You can find a FAR, capital F, capital A, capital R, FAR, wave IR sauna.
Oh yeah.
It's dry. The infrared sauna will penetrate up to 3 to 4 centimeters, which is actually quite deep to tissue.
Yeah.
It's dry. It's relaxing. It's all those sort of things. Those are the big four, and you can find them. They're all over San Diego, and chiropractors and spas. They're all over. And you're going to find a place. I know there's a couple places in San Diego that has sensory deprivation, has Normatecs, and it has the saunas and it's massage all in one place.
Nice.
So you'll be able to track them down.
Yeah, I would say the poor man's version of that, if you want to save some money, would be definitely ice, right? And ice buckets, and a foam roller. You definitely want a foam roller. I swear, I got rolled third phase. I was like a week from the island, and I got rolled for a knee injury. And I felt that knee injury coming for like 3 weeks, and I was just stretching IT bands, and, it's just like I knew it was coming. I couldn't even change gears in my truck out of, manual. And it started really hurting there. And I was like, I got to do something. If I had a foam roller, I know 100% I could have kept going. That foam roller is, I still get IT band flare-ups during our run cycles. And I don't have to stop running now because of those foam rollers. I mean, it hurts, it hurts, and you can still warm up with one, cool down with one, still do your run in the middle, and, maybe decrease your mileage. But it used to be you'd have to stop running for 5-6 days, just to recover from that. But, if you have to, you can, keep pushing through the runs with the use of that foam roller. So get smart on the foam roller. I would say for me, that'd be my number one tool. Compression pants. Absolutely. And just stretch, stretch at the end of the day, basic static stretching, and make sure before the day starts, you're doing some dynamic stretches too. I mean, the last thing you want to do is go into a day of buds and be stiff, so, actually take your warm up seriously as well.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go right into, it's funny because the poor man way of vibration is still, I think, the best. There's 3 pieces of vibration. Well, there's 4. No one's going to get a power plate. They're $12,000.
Yeah.
The travel ones are about the small ones are about $1,800.
Yeah.
I've got one, but that's my business. That's my life. So
those are awesome.
They're amazing. But then now we'll give you the 3 options that are far cheaper, but almost as effective. The most expensive of the 3 is going to be, it's a Theragun. I've got one sitting right behind me. The Theragun, they're about $600. Is it worth $600? No, but it works. The next tier down, they have the vibrating foam rollers that Hyper Ice makes. Awesome. They have a Hyper Sphere and they have foam roller. I have both of those. Those are going to run you about $200. Now, so I paid a visit to I worked a bit with the Pirates in Florida, the training camp, and they had a whole bunch of car buffers laid out, Ryobi car buffers. The frequency, not a sander, it's the buffer. It's $22 or $24 at Home Depot or Amazon. The frequency that buffer runs on is ideal frequency for massage, relaxation. So I have them. I just plug them in, take that car buffer and run it up and down my leg. It's fantastic.
Ah,
22
great
bucks.
idea. Great idea.
Definitely
Love that one.
ice, right? The poor man, ice, foam roller, compression garments, $22 Ryobi car buffer at Home Depot. It's bright yellow. So that's what I would do. You know, and then from there, it's like when people have the same questions about supplements, like protein and creatine, and then from there expand, right? For recovery on these modalities, ice, compression garments, foam roller, Ryobi car buffer, and then expand from there.
Yeah.
Cross balls, foam balls, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But you're going to have with those 4 things, the ice, the foam roller, the compression, the Ryobi vibration, you're going to have a really, really good kit, good toolbox to recover.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great one. Yeah, and just, whatever really hurts you. I mean, if you go on to some of these websites, like if you Google mobility on the websites, Mobility WOD, I mean, that guy gets into he gets into a lot of great ideas, from tennis balls to actually using a barbell. I mean, he really does some deep tissue stuff. Some of those things may be a little too hard on you, but like if your feet hurt and you have plantar fasciitis, or you're getting some Achilles tendonitis going on, a tennis ball, lacrosse ball are great. Just kind of roll those things out. And, the great thing about now there's the internet. When I was there was no internet.
For sure. Yeah.
And you could go there and, you can Google anything and figure out exactly, how do I need to foam roll this part of my body to make the pain go away?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I think simple is better. And the reason why simple is better to start off with is because you're more likely to continue on doing it.
Yeah.
Right. It's not likely that you're going to go have a massager. And it's certainly for you guys that are married going through, your wife or your fiance or girlfriend is going to have very, very little empathy for you. Like every night coming home, she's not going to, if you find a woman that's going to massage you every night, great. But that wasn't my case.
Yeah.
So just keep it simple and then expand from there.
Yeah. Great advice, Jeff. That's cool. So here we go. Another tactical fitness report done on recovery during hardcore special ops selection training. So
here it is.
Once again, thanks a lot, Jeff. Invaluable advice. I appreciate it a lot. So
anytime. We'll talk soon.
All right. Send your questions in and we'll answer them.
Will do. Absolutely.